Well, finally, Central Coast Mariners announced another signing, and in today's video, we're also going to take a look at how the Mariners squad is currently shaking up with, at the point of this recording, just 1 week to go in the transfer window, not a lot of time left to sign players, and of course, a big week coming up for our Mariners men's first grade academy side who have their playoff games going on at the moment. So there's a lot to go through. We'd love for you guys to join the conversation, jump in the comments section, and make sure to stay subscribed so you keep up to date to the Mariners news here that we're talking about here on Coastwood Football with me, Lockie. Appreciate it, guys, joining us here today. Let's talk about this move for James Donachie to Central Coast Mariners. I'm personally quite excited about this move. I think this is a really smart piece of business from Central Coast Mariners. Look, 32 years of age now, James Donachie, but he brings a wealth of A-League experience to the Central Coast Mariners. Has also spent times in his football career overseas as well in Asia. But he's a guy who has been a part of some really successful teams in the A-Leagues. Has spent times at Brisbane Roar, Melbourne Victory, recently with Western United, and now with an opportunity here at Central Coast Mariners. Again, you look at the way that this team is shaping up for the upcoming season, which we'll talk about in just a moment. It's a very youthful lineup, as we know. It usually is for the Mariners. So it's important that we sign the right experienced players and maintain that experience in the squad. And especially with the injury to Trent Sainsbury at the back end of last season, look, we don't know how much of the season he's going to miss coming up, Trent Sainsbury. Hopefully recovery's going all well for Trent. But James Donachie, look, if Sainsbury happens to be out for a chunk of time, Donachie's a great replacement to bring in just to sort of provide that experience and that calmness and composure at the back. A guy who has, I think, almost 200 games experience in the A-League men's competition. So it's a one-year deal here for James Donachie. A smart signing for the Central Coast Mariners and just adding that experience at the back. We'd love to hear from you guys as well. Are you happy with this move? Again, I think considering the situation that Mariners are in right now, I think it is just a really smart signing. So Donachie is joining the squad, which is looking a little bit something like this right about now. So at the time of this recording, this is what we can see from Central Coast Mariners. We'll wait and see. There might be some new signings in the coming days. We don't know. We'll wait and see. It's great that we've gotten a lot of announcements in the past week. Last week, we did a video talking about those re-signings of Thea Harris, Duarte, Brantman. There's a couple players who still, at the time of this recording, don't have a contract for the upcoming season. And some big players too, in Nathan Paul and Alfie McCalmont, who were key players for the Central Coast Mariners last season, still haven't been re-signed to contracts, or at least it hasn't been publicly announced that they have been re-signed for the upcoming season. Having said that, both players have been spotted regularly in preseason training in the photos that we've seen online from the Mariners' official social media channels. So I think the expectation is those guys will re-sign for the upcoming campaign. But I think it's important that we do lock them down for this season, especially Nathan Paul, who is a player who still has a lot of potential, an Australia under-23 international as well. Alfie McCalmont, a player who I think still has a lot to offer for the Central Coast Mariners. I think despite the fact that he played a lot of games last season, he never really got going at his best. He showed us good glimpses here and there, but just hopefully he can find a bit more consistency and really take his game to that next level this season. Because I get the sense that Alfie McCalmont can offer the Central Coast Mariners more. So hopefully we do see some re-signings for those two guys. Aside from that, the squad's looking... Look, I mean, there's promise. Look, there is promise here. We've got plenty of exciting young players who have a lot of potential to grow. Look, goalkeeper position is looking pretty solid at the moment, obviously with Andrew Redmayne joining the squad. Very interesting to see, whether it's going to be him or Parech Cullen in the mix for the starting goalkeeper position. Obviously, you look at those fullback positions, and that's the real concern already, I think, for Central Coast Mariners, considering that, we just have Storm Roux and Lucas Moragas. Look, personally, I don't know about you guys, but I'm happy with those two guys being the starting fullback options for Central Coast Mariners. Fantastic players. Storm Roux, Mr. Consistent for Central Coast Mariners, has been here for so long now, a real key leader player for the Central Coast Mariners. And Lucas Moragas, I think on his day, one of the best, attacking left backs in the competition. Donachie, Paul, Sainsbury, Harrington, happy with the centre back options going forward. Eames, Tapp, Steele, hopefully McCalmont re-signs. But I tell you what, Brad Tapp, man, I'm so excited about Brad Tapp returning from injury and being involved this upcoming season. And it's going to feel like a new signing. That's the thing with Brad Tapp coming back. It was like he only played a couple games at the start of last season, and he missed the whole chunk of the campaign, and it was terrible, obviously, the injury for Brad Tapp. But we shouldn't forget the pivotal role that he played in the 2023-24 season, where he was playing in midfield alongside Max Ballard, behind Josh Nisbet, and provided so much stability and balance to that midfield, and he's going to be so important. Look, we know Brad Tapp is a player who can play in midfield or even in a centre-back position. So maybe there's even a centre-back pairing of Donachie and Tapp, but for me, with that signing of James Donachie, I think that pretty much confirms that we will see Brad Tapp deployed in a midfield role predominantly this season. Look, the attacking positions, the strikers and those wide midfielders, very versatile. So obviously these players aren't locked into these positions. But Theoharis, Faisal seem like the natural choices on that left-hand side. DiPizio, we have seen him play off the right-hand side a lot for the Mariners. But again, we could see De Lima play out in a wide role. The same thing with Brantman, Sandbrook's very versatile as well. Edmondson and Duarte, those right-side strikers there that I've got listed here, those are, for me, are sort of the more out-and-out strikers, I think it's fair to say. Ryan Edmondson, again, we shouldn't forget his heroics in the A-League Men's Grand Final back in 2024, of course, which was, it feels like ages ago, but it was just last year. But again, he's a player who we hope stays injury-free and hopefully can really, step up to another gear this season, Ryan Edmondson. Nico Duarte, big season for him coming up. Hopefully he, again, just continues to progress. And again, you look at these attacking players, De Lima, Brantman, was very curious to see whether Sandbrook gets much involvement with the senior team this season. And DiPizio, I've listed DiPizio on the right side here because we have seen him play off the right a lot. But personally, I would like to see DiPizio played in that central role as a number 10 in behind Edmondson. I'm thinking for our sort of attacking four players, I would start Edmondson and DiPizio centrally. And I would start Theoharis and Faisal, one of them off the left, one of them off the right. You can chop and change either there. So there's a lot of chopping and changing in regards to what's the strongest 11, and we will talk about that in the coming weeks, closer to the season. But overall, that's what the team's looking like. Again, we may well see some new signings in the coming days. So hopefully we do see some new signings. I think we're looking at the fullback positions for more depth there. And I would sign another winger there. I think we do need another sort of specialist in that winger role. I think De Lima, Brantman, DiPizio, I get the sense they all would prefer playing as like a number 10. So with the departures of Docker and Feijao, we need to sign another winger. So that's one for sure. And look, hopefully we sign another striker. Hopefully we sign another forward. I think we do need some competition there for Edmondson and Duarte and just a boost of quality. Not doubting what those guys could offer, Edmondson and Duarte, but you look at how much Mariners struggled in front of goal last season, even with Kowal in the mix as well, and it's just clear that that's a real priority for Central Coast Mariners as well. So there's a few areas to still look at for Central Coast Mariners, and again, hopefully we see some signings in the coming days. But that's a look at the Mariners squad for the upcoming season at this stage. And lastly, we are going to talk about the Mariners Academy side, the men's first grade side, who have been in action in their playoff series over the past week and this coming week as well. Leg one this past weekend on Saturday, a 2-2 draw between the two sides. Interestingly enough, we did see a few A-League players involved in this game. Brantman, De Lima, Eames, of course, all those guys, still so young. And it was a great goal from De Lima. That second goal, I believe it was, for the Mariners in that game. Fantastic strike, cutting in, scoring off his right foot. Unbelievable goal. And then leg two coming up this Friday at Plume Park. Mariners hosting that one, 7:30 p.m. kickoff. So get down to the ground to make sure that you catch that game. You can also watch it on YouTube as well, the Football New South Wales YouTube channel also. So really big game there for Central Coast Mariners to attempt to maintain their place in NPL New South Wales. A big game coming up. And again, we're getting a look at the future of the Central Coast Mariners, these really exciting players who have worked so hard over this past season. And this is their final game coming up here this coming Friday. So we wish the Mariners men's first grade academy team all the best for leg two coming up in those playoffs this week. But thanks, guys, for tuning in. We'll keep an eye on what's coming from the Mariners over the past week, and we'll be here to talk about it next week as well. So make sure to stay subscribed so you don't miss our videos here on Coastfoot Football with me, Lockie. Hit the like button on the way out, guys. Really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.